ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. We will chant the first mantra. Om ityetadaksharamidagum sarvam. See, it is there in your copies. Wait a minute, I'll show you. In the second paragraph, the first one, the mantra first. Om ityetadaksharam idam sarvam. Om ityetadaksharam idam sarvam. Tasyopavyakhyanam bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi. Sarvam omkara eva yaccha anyata trikalatitam tadapi omkara eva. Next mantra on page 2. Sarvametad Brahma Ayamatma Brahma Soyamatma Chatushpat. So, as we have seen, this Upanishad through the means of Omkara is analyzing Atma. So in the very first mantra, as I think you all of you know, that Omkara is the name of Brahman. And Brahman has two facets. One is Saguna Brahma, Brahma with qualities, and other one is without qualities. Now this Omkara is the name for both. Omkara is the name for both Brahman with qualities and Brahman without qualities. Now this also we should be very clear that Brahman with qualities is incidental aspect of Brahman. It is incidental, which means it is not essential or inherent. It is something which appears to be there but is not really there. It is there as long as you are seeing it. It is in that sense that it is said that Saguna Brahma or Brahman with qualities is what? Incidental aspect of reality. Incidental, which comes and goes. To give you an example, the actor is playing, is it audible to everyone or which you need mic? No.
Everybody okay with the sound?
Because with microphone you will my face will be blocked. So so when actor is playing the role of a beggar, he is in a costume of a beggar, but that beggarly aspect is what? Incidental to the actor. It is not the inherent reality of the actor. Whereas what is the actor? Actor, being the actor or that person, is always there. So that is inherent or essential. Similarly in case of Brahman or the reality, what is the essential aspect or the facet? Is that it is without qualities, without attributes, without form. And what is the incidental? Saguna, means with qualities. Quality means what? The entire creation. It's a big thing. The entire creation is nothing but an incidental aspect of Brahman. But Omkara, being the most apt name for Brahman, it covers both the incidental as well as the inherent aspect. So that is how the Upanishad begins. When it says Omkara is everything, Omkara, the Pranava or this one syllabled mantra Om, is everything. When it says it is everything, what does it mean? It means because that inherent aspect we do not see. What we see and what is tangible to us, what we perceive is what? Names and forms. So when it is said Omkara is everything, the first impression will be that Omkara is this entire creation. That it is even the Nirguna Brahma, Brahman without qualities, that will be understood only by few. But when it is said that Omkara is everything, then first meaning that will strike is that Omkara is this entire creation. But in reality, Omkara is the name for both Saguna Brahma as well as Nirguna Brahma. Brahman with form, with qualities, and Brahman without that. Omkara is the apt name for that. So the first equation given by Upanishad is Omkara is everything, and then it is elaborated. What is everything? Then it was said, it is Bhutam, Bhavat, Bhavishyat, Iti, Sarvam, Omkara eva. Whatever was there in the past, whatever is there in the present, whatever will be there in the future, is everything nothing but Brahman. Plus, Yacha Anyat Trikalatitam, whatever is beyond time. Now what is beyond time? The cause of time. What is beyond time is the cause of time. Now if you remember, this creation is nothing but made out of the play of time and space. Desha Kala Kalana Vaichitra Chitri Krutam. We hear the Dakshina in Shankaracharya Ji Maharaj in Dakshinamurti Stotra. He writes that this creation is nothing but made out of the play of time and space. Desha Kala Kalana. Kalana means mixture, and this creation is made up of these two things, space and time. But how did this concept of space and time come about? It is due to Maya. It is due to, because without that creation is not possible. So first concept of time and space has its origin or is created by Maya. Maya means avyakta, all these are synonyms. Avyakta, avidya, Maya, avyakta, all these are one things. So when it is said here that whatever is beyond time, that is also Brahman, that is also Omkara. Which means what? Even Maya comes within what? Omkara. Omkara is even Maya, which is the cause of the creation. Now, what about that which is the cause? We will not here call the cause, because Brahman is not even the cause of Maya. Brahman is substratum of Maya, Adhisthana for Maya. Now, supposing you ask me that what is wrong if Brahman is the cause of Maya? If Brahman is known as the cause of Maya, for creation Maya is cause. For the creation Maya is the cause. For Maya, who is the cause? If we say Brahman is the cause, tentatively we can say. But when we will look at the nature of Brahman, then we will see no causality is permissible. No causality is possible over there. Brahman is beyond cause and effect. Because now if we ponder over this, if we examine this closely, then you will find, look at the creation only. What is there before is effect. When you get into the cause of the effect, then you will find that the cause is also nothing but an effect of something else. Say for instance, we are all made up of 5 elements, but those 5 elements themselves have cause and effect relationship. Or let us go into a simpler example. Say for instance, tree is the effect and seed is the cause. But how did seed come about? Seed is also due to some other thing, because of some other tree. Then that because of its seed, that seed because of some other tree. In this way, if you go, where will this chain end? Which is the first seed? Tell me. How did it come about? Just as, they say, who is the first father? Father is the cause of the son. But father himself is son of some other father. That way, if you go back, it will add to what? It will lead you to, this is a dosha. This is a defect in Shastra. What is it called? Infinite regression. It will lead you to effect to cause, cause to effect, effect to cause. Like that, you cannot come, there is no finality. You cannot pinpoint the cause. There cannot be a cause which is not an effect. There cannot be a cause which is itself not an effect. There cannot be an effect which has no cause. Brahman cannot fall into this category. Brahman cannot be the effect of something, and Brahman cannot be the cause of anything. Because if Brahman becomes cause means when the effect comes, there is a change in the cause. Cause always with the causality goes change. And if Brahman is subject to change, it is no more Brahman. Reality cannot change. There cannot be even a trace or an iota of change. If Brahman is subject to that, it no more remains that. Because in course of time, with little change, little, we don't grow old in one day. Little by little, we develop wrinkles and everything. We were very erect once upon a time, and then little. So, what I am saying is, with time, the vikaras, the changes, will destroy a thing. It will no more remain what it is. Brahman cannot be like this. Reality cannot be like this. So, our point is that Brahman is not even the cause of Maya. Then what is this Maya? Maya is some kind of Avyakta Namani Paramesha Shakti. Shankaracharya ji says in Vivek Chudamani, Avyakta Namani Paramesha Shakti. It is some kind of power of Brahman known as Avyakta. There he calls it Avyakta. You can call it Maya. Shvetashvatar calls it Maya. So, some kind of, which cannot be explained, which is anirvachaniya. And it is sannapya sanna ubhayatmikano, which means then what is this Maya? Is it one with Brahman? No. Is it apart from Brahman? No. Is it apart and together? No. You cannot say anything categorically. Let us not get away by saying that you cannot say anything. Let us get into understanding that. If you say that Maya is along with Brahman, part of Brahman, then what will happen? Maya has all the potential of attributes. Then all those attributes will also go in here where? In here where? In Brahman. Because Maya is the potential cause of all the attributes, countless attributes, innumerable attributes. Supposing Brahman or Maya was part of Brahman, then what will happen? Brahma will land with all these attributes. Again it will become Saguna, which is not possible. Then, if Maya stands apart from Brahman, nothing to do with Brahman, then who is she? Who is she? An independent lady? Independent on its own, women's lib. Then there will be how many realities? Two. One Brahman, another Maya. Then she may not listen to Brahman. She will be independent. Now that is all. Means there are, Advaita is total. Total oneness. Shastra talks about total non-duality. And it is, non-duality can be possible only and only when this Maya is superimposed. It is superimposed, it is not real. But she does everything. She creates the creation. In fact, creation is just an appearance. But let us now get back to this. Then when it is said that Omkara is everything, which means it is the manifest creation as well as the Avyakta, unmanifest, plus even Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman. All these three, out of that two are superimposed, one is real. All of that is nothing but Brahman. Okay? So, this way the first mantra set the equation that everything is Brahman. Now, in the first mantra, the importance was given to what? The name or the named? Omkara is a name for everything. That is what was elaborated in the first mantra, where importance was given to what? Name. Omkara is everything. Name stands, name is the sounds, Omkara is the sound symbol, primordial sound, from which all the letters have come. From letters, the words have come, and from words, names have come. And name stands for the objects. Name and object are never apart from each other. When you utter a name, the object flashes in your mind. So, name and form are never apart. So, now Omkara is a sound symbol which are all the names, along with names go the form. In this sense, when you utter Om, even the objects, the entire universe is covered. But here in the first mantra, importance is given to name. Omkara is everything. In case somebody thinks that perhaps name is more important than the named, name is more important than the named, in case there is some such doubt, so in the second mantra, importance is given to named. In the equation is reversed in the second mantra. And so Upanishad said, Sarvam hi etad Brahma. First, Omkara is everything, and now what? Everything is Brahma. Name is changed. Earlier Om is everything, and now everything is called as Brahman, which means what? Om is everything. Huh? Om is everything. But again, somebody, may say that everything is Brahman and Brahman is some third person, third entity. Many a times when we say everything is Ishvara, but I leave myself out. I am not Ishvara, let everybody be Ishvara, let everyone be. Somehow that individuality, due to ignorance, is given so much importance, it gets so much importance that I always remain apart from everything. Brahman is everything, but I am the witness of Brahman. I remain out. So to avoid this and to make this very clear, very crystal clear, what is Upanishad saying? Sarvam hi etad Brahma, all this is Brahman. And what is that Brahman? So here in this Upanishad array, here Bhashyakara writes, Tacha Brahma Paroksha Abhihitam Pratyakshataha Visheshena Nirdishiti. Supposing that Brahman remains away from, yes, everything is Brahman, but I still remain. To avoid this, to remove this possibility from our minds, what is Upanishad is saying? I am Atma Brahma. This my Atma, everything is Brahman, and this my Atma, I am Atma. I am, this pronoun shows proximity. This my Atma is nothing but Brahman. So see, Upanishad is bent upon proclaiming total non-duality. There is absolutely no difference between Atma and Brahman. It was already understood, it was covered in everything. Even Atma comes. When it was said everything is Brahman, automatically this Atma is covered. But in case I still remain away from it, so Upanishad, to avoid that, said, what? I am Atma Brahman. This my Atma is Brahman. Now this to say is one thing. But when can we be Atma? When can we understand that we are Brahman? When from here also incidental aspect is removed. See here, in what I call I today, there are two things. There is one aspect which is incidental, agantuka, and other one is inherent, which means one is coming and going, one is now there, not there, and the other one is always there. Which one is true? Which one is Atma? So, to clarify this and to put an emphasis upon this, Upanishad said everything is Brahman and Brahman is Atma. I can understand myself to be Atma and Brahman only and only when I don't give importance to the incidental aspect. My body, my mind, my ego, I. That means I am giving importance to that which is not I, that which is subject to coming and going, that which is changing every moment. So from here also we remove, our life should be a process of giving less and less and less importance to which aspect? The incidental aspect. Inherent and appreciating inherent. Here. And when we interact with the world, when we perceive the world, then also, where should we give importance to? There also, I don't give too much of importance to the incidental aspect. What is the meaning of incidental aspect over there? When I look at you, supposing you are the world for me at this moment, I don't give importance to the incidental aspect, which means what? Who are you? Where do you belong to, etc. What do you look like? How do you look like? Height, weight, whatever, Name and form are not important, but name and forms fall in the category of which aspect? Incidental. Disposition falls in the category of incidental. So, I don't pay attention to that. I of course interact with that, but still there are different levels at which we keep our relationships. The mature way is to connect with which aspect? The incidental, which means every time I from my mind don't give importance to the incidental aspect, name and form, but give importance to the inherent one. That is why Lord Krishna says, in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini cha Shuni chaiva Shvapake cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Panditaha, those who know. Pandita means wise people. What do they see? There are different kinds of people. There is one Brahmana. Brahmana means learned. Then Vidya Vinaya some Brahmana, then there is cow, then there is elephant, then there is dog eater. Different people are there. But for a Pandita, what does he see? Not what he knows, what he looks like, what caste he belongs, nothing. But he sees the one in all of them. What is that? Which is here. I am. To go further, first everything is Ishvara, first level of knowledge. Then second one, I am everything. I am everything. This is more mature. So, when it is said, I am Atma Brahman, this my Atma is Brahman, that is possible only and only when body, mind, intellect, that is not given importance. Not given importance means because you see today what divides me from Brahman or from the truth is what? It is everywhere, but still I have made the division, the boundaries individual. It is individuality which becomes a barrier, which divides one from the other. So, Upanishad says, this my Atma is Brahman. So, when I look upon Atma, then what should be my understanding of myself? That Bruhatvat Brahman, I am all pervasive. Everything is in me and I in everything. Everything in me, Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam, Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani. In all beings I am there and everybody is in me. So, and this Atma, now as I said, this Atma is now further analyzed as Soyam Atma Chatushpat. This Atma has 4 quarters. Now here one Tikakara raises a question which can come in our minds also. That Atmanaha Niravayavasya, Atma is really partless. It is formless. And how come you are talking about 4 quarters of Atma? Atma has 4 quarters. How do you say that Atma has 4 quarters? It is formless. So, it is now clarified. Paramarthatah chatushpatatva abhavepi. Yes, you are right. In reality, as far as the absolute reality is concerned, the Paramarthic reality is concerned, Atma has no parts, no form, no boundaries. But still, Upanishad knows what it is speaking. When it says Atma has 4 quarters, this 4 quarters, this kind of description is a prakriya. It is a model. It is a means. Why? So that it will help you lead to the essential nature of the self. It will lead you to the real nature of the self. For that, these three padas will help you. Because this is our experience that we wake up, we go to dream and we even go to deep sleep. So, Upanishad in a stroke cannot negate it. Through that, it will lead us to the real nature of the self. So, it is kalpanikam upaya upeya bhutam. This is used as a means. This description that Atma has 4 quarters, not otherwise there is no real connection. There can be connection or some kind of relationship between 2 things belonging to the same class. There can be relationship between 2 things belonging to the same class. But between Sat and Asat, between real and apparent, what kind of relationship is there? Between real and unreal, there cannot be relationship. Say for instance, there is this thing, this clip, I can tie it with a rope because this is tieable. I can take something and tie it. How can Atma and Anatma be tied? How can Atma, which is formless, partless, can it be tied with something which is form? Waking state we will see is tangible. So, it is not Sat and Asat, if at all there is any relationship between Sat and Asat, then it is of what nature? Superimposition. One is Adhisthana, other one is Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa and superimposed. Adhisthana means real. Just as there is what kind of relationship obtains between rope and snake? Tell me. In reality, the object which is there before me is rope. But due to lack of light, I mistake it to be what? A snake. What is the relationship between them? One is Sat, rope is real. I have taken it to be snake. Are there 2? There is just one. There is rope. Where does snake exist? In our imagination. It is kalpana. It is imagination. Between kalpana, between imagination and what is real, there cannot be physical connection. There cannot be any such connection. So, what I am trying to say, in reality, Atma doesn't have 4 feet, doesn't have 4 quarters, but still Upanishad uses them for the time being. It validates our notion that yes, Atma has 4 feet, and then through them it will lead us to the real one, and the real one will be mentioned here as 4th. Turiya will be called as 4th, as if this 4th can be 4th if these 3 are real. 4th can be 4th only when these 3 are real. But we will find that these 3 are not real. Then how can this 4th be 4th? It is in reality 1. When 3 are mithya, 4th one cannot get the name 4th. But still Upanishad gives, because we live in mithya. We take what is mithya as real. So that time Shruti is like a mother of all mothers. So mothers, when teaches the child, then there is a method, because she is at one level and the child is at another level. So very delicately he has to be brought to that level, or in his language she has to communicate. Shruti does exactly that. When it says Atma is Chatushpat, Atma has 4 quarters, it validates for the time being our notion, and then slowly it will negate. No trace will be left of the 3. This will be the method. So now we proceed with the first pada. Now here also Bhashyakara makes it a point to say that Why do you call it Chatushpata? So he says that there are, in reality, there are no four are not there, but this is for convenience. Just as in a dollar or in a rupee, we can say that there are 4, 25, 25, 25, 25. But then this first 3 25, when the fourth one will come, it will add up to 1. Similarly here, for the time being, these 3 are taken up as one part of my experience, other part of experience, third part of experience. And then when fourth one will come, everything will be 1. But that is how these 4 are taken. So now, first one, we will read that. Come on, verse number, or mantra number 3. In the second page, Jagarita sthanah bahishprajnah saptangah ekonavimshati mukhah स्थूलबुक वैश्वानरः pratamah पादः. See, the first quarter is Vaishwanarah. Jagarita sthanah bahishprajnah saptangah ekona vimshati mukhah stulabhuk Vaishwana. The first pada, the first quarter of Atma, the first quarter of the self. What is its name? The name given by Upanishad. What is the name given by Upanishad? Vaishwanarah. The name is Vaishwanarah. Now, let me tell you at the outset that now in the description, Shruti has made a proposition. What is the proposition? That it will describe the Atma with Atma as having 4 quarters. But now we will see that while describing Atma and its 4 quarters, Shruti forgets that Atma, begins to talk about Atma, but along with that it will cover the entire creation. In the description of the self, in this description of the waking state, we will find that it forgets, or the difference between the individuality and totality is obscured totally. That is what we are going to find. Why? That is also with a reason. To show that what you call Atma is not confined to this body, mind, intellect. In fact, it is Brahman. To show that, in the description we will find different adjectives which will cover the entire creation. See, what is this first quarter? He is called Vaishwanara, where Jagarita sthanah bahishprajnah, where primarily his consciousness is focused outside. That is the first state. Jagaritam means waking state. What is the meaning of waking state? Waking state, because he is bahishprajnah. Bahishprajnah means in the waking state, his consciousness is focused outside. Now when we say this, even that doesn't make sense. In consciousness, there is nothing inside and outside. In reality, in consciousness, there is nothing called inside and outside. But still, I look upon myself as an individual, and I think that my boundary is this, body is my boundary. So whatever is inside is looked upon as in, and whatever is beyond is looked upon as out. Keeping that in mind, it is called that in the waking state, my consciousness is focused outside, bahishprajnah. What is the characteristic of this waking state? Indriyehi arthopalabdhihi, meaning that in this state, with the head, you are primarily identified with the gross body. You are see, we have 3 bodies. Which are the 3 bodies? Gross body, subtle body, and causal body. Actually, in sequence, Causal body should come first, then the subtle body, and then the gross body. But our interaction, when we wake up, we are immediately perceiving the world. When we wake up, this is called waking state. What is important here? I am, through my sense organs and mind, I am contacting the world. So, when with the help of the sense organs and the mind, you contact the world, it is called Jagarita state, waking state, where, as I said, you are identified with the gross body. Even at that time, the mind is playing its part, but importance is of the sense organs. See, consciousness or Atma, Chit, through riding on the horses of mind and sense organs, as it were, goes out. Riding through these eyes, consciousness along with the mind goes out and sees this object. Then what happens? Then the moment, see, eyes can see the object because of the consciousness. Had consciousness not been there, eyes would not have been possible, it would not have been possible for the eyes to see. But sense organs backed by the mind, and mind having the consciousness, borrowed consciousness, is able to see this object. That is how cognition takes place. That is how cognition of different objects of the world takes place. This is what is happening in the waking state. And what are the, how many limbs does this waker have during this state? So Upanishad says Saptangaha, he has 7 limbs. Now this is the place where we have to make a note of something. While describing Saptanga means this waker has 7 limbs and 19 mouths. He has 7 limbs and 19 ekona vimshati mukha, 19 mouths. And what does he enjoy? Gross objects. Sthula bhuk. He enjoys gross objects. This is waking state. What are the 7 limbs? While talking about the 7 limbs, Shruti includes the entire creation. Actually, 7 limbs should have been of this body. 2 hands and 2, that is how the calculation should have been done. But what does Shruti do? It includes this in 7 limbs what? 7 cosmic limbs are taken. Which are they? Heaven is the head, sun and moon are the eyes, the vital air, Vayu air is the breath, the middle part is the space, and the ocean is the bladder, earth the feet, and fire the mouth. Fire is the mouth. So you understood, while talking about this person and describing him, I am sure you are getting what I am saying. While talking about this waker, individual waker, I am also a waker, you are also a waker, you are also a waker. While talking about them, Shruti is describing in which way? This waker has 7 limbs. Why? To show that really what you call Atma is nothing but everything. It is due to ignorance that we confine this Atma into this one body. In reality, it is nothing but entire creation. Even in Purusha Suktam also, while talking about the cosmic person, he is described in that way only, that heaven is the head and eyes and moon and sun are the eyes. So, the entire creation is covered. So, this is Saptangaha, 7, this waker has 7 limbs. Then Which are these 19 mouths? These are the 19 mouths with which it consumes. Because in the waking state, the focus is outside. My consciousness is focused outside. And outside, what do I see? Different names and forms. And it is already assumed that ignorance is there. Wise men are very few. Most of us are ignorant. And when ignorance is there, what is there? You want to enjoy the objects. Eyes want good color, ears want good sound, taste wants good taste, tongue wants good taste, this wants good smell, skin wants good touch. So it is assumed that this person is wanting, this person is lacking, and Ishvara has provided variety of objects. There are corresponding objects to every sense organ. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, in keeping with our organs. And so, he enjoys this gross objects through his 19 mouths. 19 mouths. Which are these 19 mouths? 5 sense organs of knowledge, that is eyes, ears, with which we contact the objects of the world. Then 5 organs of action. 5 organs of action are there. Then 5 pranas. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. All 5 are doing something. One is digesting, one is circulating. All of them do 5 different kinds of functions. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15, and then mind, antakarana. This mind called antakarana has also 4, supposedly, 4, there are 4 parts of antakarana. It is one only, but depending upon the kind of function it does, it derives these 4 names. Which are they? See, when it is judging, it is called buddhi. When it is vacillating, it is called mind. When it is thinking, it is called chitta. And when there is sense of ego, it is called ahankara. So the same what we call ahankara is what? According to this, what we call I is what actually? It is nothing but mind. It is nothing. Mind has, 2 vrittis. It divides into one vritti or one thought. The same mind divides into 2. One takes the form of the ego and the other one idam, means the object. So the same mind divides into this 2. Raman Maharshi says this, that vitti aham manaha. May you know this ahankara is nothing but the mind. What we call ahankara is nothing but the mind. In short, mind also is divided into this 4, depending upon the kind of function it performs. Chitta, buddhi. Chitta means chitta means the thinking aspect. Then the vacillating means which is now it thinks this way, then it thinks that way, that is mind. Then judging, one is buddhi and the ego. So the total is 19. So these are the 19 mouths with which it consumes the gross objects of the world. Sthula Bhuk Vaishvanaraha Pratamaha Padaha. So this is the first state. This is the state of mind or consciousness. This is the state of the mind. Actually, this is the state of the mind. Atma or consciousness doesn't have any state. Now no. But then why does Upanishad say that Atma Chatushpata? Atma has 4 quarters and this is one of them. Precisely because because of identifying with this gross body, because of identifying with the mind, it as it were becomes of the size of the mind. I am nothing but what I think of myself. So when I think that I am this much, I become that much. So because of the identification with the gross body and the mind, it appears as it were, as if the state is of consciousness, but in reality it is the state of the mind. Waking state is the state of the mind, not of Atma. Atma has no states. Okay? So this is the first state. Then we go to the second one. Swapnasthanaha. Second, the mantra following that in your page over here. Swapnasthanaha antah prajnaha saptangaha ekonavimshati mukaha pravivikta bhuka taijasaha vitiyah padaha. This is the second quarter. And what is the name of this? What is the field of activity? Now see, earlier this creation, this is where my mind was focused. Now in this second one, Swapna Sthana, the sthana, the place, the field of activity is in the dream. In the dream, earlier I was there with the entire world, perceiving it, interacting with it, but now the state of mind has changed. Now the field of activity is dream. Now the field of activity is dream. So it is called Swapnasthanaha. The field of activity is dream. And where am I focused in this dream? Antah prajnaha. When my focus is inside. So earlier it was outside. Again, to clarify, in consciousness you cannot say it is inside or outside, but still because of the identification with this mind is now inside. Earlier the mind was focused outside. So what was the name that time? Bahish prajnaha. And now what is the name? Antah prajnaha. My focus is inside. Then again the rest of the description remains the same. Saptangaha, 7 limbs, ekona vimshati mukhaha, with 19 mouths. And then, but now what am I enjoying? Limbs and mouths remain the same. In the description of this Swapna's dream state also. But what changes? Now what do I enjoy? Earlier I was enjoying and consuming the gross objects of the world. Say if there is, you are now listening to my sound. If there is a flower here, then I am smelling it. These are all gross objects. In dream, what do I enjoy? Pravivikta bhuk, which means now I enjoy subtle objects. In the dream, everybody knows what dream is. In the dream, the objects which you enjoy are not the same ones. The same classroom will not come in dream. In dream, I create my own classroom. Here, this is the gross thing. You all are also tangible. But in my dream, when I dream, then you all are there in my dream. And in the same manner, we are talking in the dream also. But who is there? What kind of you are there in my dream? Subtle. Subtle. So that is why it is called Pravivikta bhuk. In Jagrata, what I was enjoying was gross objects, because there with this gross body and the sense organs, I was identified, and through them, through these eyes I was seeing. In the dream, with this eyes I am not seeing you. This eye is not present there. That you which I see now is not present there. There it is altogether a different world created by mind. Mind creates this world. And where does the mind bring the material from which it creates? Mind is able to create everything, but the material is from the Jagrata. The material that it derives is from the waking state. How come? Yes, because in the waking state, there are certain things, certain experiences, certain events which leave a very deep impression. Supposing we came across something very nice, we saw a very beautiful painting, and that left a mark in the mind. Then in the dream, that mark is that vasana, it is called vasana. Vasana means impressions. Vasana is the subtle state of thought. Thoughts arise from vasana. Vasana means subtle impressions which give birth to different vrittis. So, supposing in the waking state, we had very good lunch today. Very good lunch. And then the impression is left. Then when you dream, you still are in that. You create, but that time that the thing is not available. You create your own thing. With the help of what? With this sense organs, I make milkshake. With this one? No. With what? Mind itself. So none of these sense organs of the waking state have place in the dream state. All of them are withdrawn. The entire gross body is not available there. But with the impressions, strong impressions, and there is no rhyme and reason there, nothing very having cause and effect relationship, anything. You mix up and the world is created, but is created out of the impressions of the waking state. But you go through the same experiences. In the waking state also you have sukha, dukkha, happiness, unhappiness, jealousy, anger, everything, different people, everything. The same setup is found in the dream state. But there, who is doing all this? The mind. The mind has spread out. And how did mind do all this? It is Taijasa. It is that is why the name is given Taijasa. First one was called Vaishwanaraha in the waking state. Now this fellow is called what? Taijasa. Taijasa means luminous one, shining one. Why? Because with the help of the mind is filled up with consciousness fully, and it creates with its own light in the dream. That is why, because this sun has no entry in the dream, this moon, these stars have no end, but still there also we have a sun and moon and everything. Who made all that? Mind. Mind did everything. So mind has that capacity, and that is why it is called Taijasah. In so many other Upanishads, that mind has this capacity is glorified. Particularly in Prashnopanishad, it has been shown that mind has this very rare gift, that it can create its own world. Creates its own world and then enjoys. Enjoys means he partakes of that. And he is called, that is why he is called Taijasah. But important is that waking has no entry into the dream state. Keep this in mind. In waking state, who did not have entry? Dream state. Dreamer was not present in waker. Do you agree? Waker is not present in dream. Okay. Then, having done all this, having enjoyed the gross objects, and here this person is primarily identified with what? Mind. In the earlier state, he was identified with gross body and mind also, but now only mind. And to tell you another important fact, that in the dream the whole mind is not awake, only part of the mind. In dream this is not given here, but in different Upanishads, in Chandogya, in different Upanishads you come across this, that in the dream state full mind is not awake, only part, fraction of it. And in the dream we are here, in the waking state we are here in the eyes, and that too in right eye. The place is in the right eye, yes, mainly. Always right eye is supposed to be more important than the left one. This is what Upanishad says. So in the waking state you are primarily there, in the dream state you are here, in the deep sleep state in the heart. So on the first day we told you that the name of this Upanishad is Mandukya, from the name, from the frog, from the name of the frog is also called Manduka. I have not seen that very minutely, but they say that the frog, when it jumps from the hind legs. It first takes a jump from the hind legs and then goes forward. Similarly, when you want to go back to your reality, the inherent aspect, the essential aspect, then from the waking you go to dream, and from dream you go to deep sleep, and from deep sleep you go to Atma, the reality. That is also one of the reasons why it is called Mandukya, from the activity of the frog. Okay, keep that aside. But in the dream state, part of my personality is functioning. In the waking state, the entire personality is working. The entire personality comes in the forefront in the waking state. In the dream, only part of it. Now, after having enjoyed the gross objects, then subtle objects, now this person is tired. And now he passes where he is tired, because a lot of energy goes. It's not simple, no, happiness is there, unhappiness, now anger, now jealousy, now arrogance, now this, that. Same thing continued in the dream also. So he is exhausted. So he goes to the deep sleep state, goes to deep sleep state. So that is being talked. So now we go to the third pada, third quarter. Come on. Fifth one. Yatra suptaha न कंचन कामं कामयते न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत्सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थानः एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघन एव आनन्दमयो हि आनंदमयः हि आनंदभुक चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञः तृतीयः पादः. Now see, before going into deep sleep state, before elaborating upon that, Shruti makes a point, very important point. It begins by saying yatra suptaha, sleeping where he doesn't desire anything and doesn't see anything, doesn't dream anything, that is Sushupti. But sleeping where? Now, in Shastra, in scriptures, the sleeping is equivalent to ignorance. Sleeping is supposed to be ignorance only. So, Bhashyakara, Shankaracharya ji makes it a point, and Shruti also started with saying Yatra. Actually, it should have said, in deep sleep he doesn't see anything and doesn't dream anything. That is deep sleep state. That would have been proper description. But what Upanishad says, Yatra suptaha na kanchana kamam kam. It says sleeping where he does not see anything and does not dream anything. Why should Upanishad use this way to describe? There is a reason. Because Sushupti means ignorance. Besides deep sleep state, another meaning of Sushupti is what? Ignorance. Nisha, ignorance. Now tell me whether that ignorance is present in Jagrata, in waking state and dream state or not. It is very much present in deep waking state also and dream state also. Understood? When you are awake and contacting the world, interacting with the world, it is assumed that ignorance is there. In dream state also, ignorance is there. You don't know yourself. So, that kind of Sushupti, understand, where the meaning is ignorance, which is also a meaning of Sushupti. Agrahanam, not knowing the self. What you do not know? Swapasya tulyatvat, where you don't know the reality. In the waking state also you didn't know what the reality is. So that was Sushupti. You get what I am saying? Waking state was also characterized by Sushupti of the form of ignorance. Ignorance was present in Sushupti also, waking state also. The same ignorance was present where? In the dream state also. And same is going to be there in the deep sleep state also. So that is common. So Shruti, Upanishad makes it a point to say that to differentiate, to talk about deep sleep state, to differentiate it from this two where ignorance is common, it's a yatra suptaha, sleeping where, sleeping is common to all, but this sleep is characterized by not seeing, not desiring any object. Understood? That is why Upanishad says in the deep sleep state, he doesn't see anything and doesn't dream anything. Because ignorance, Sushupti of the form of ignorance, avidya, is common to all the three states. I think this is not clear to you. Ignorance is common to all the three states. So, sleeping where he doesn't see, but sleeping he was in even waking state. Sleeping he was also in the dream state. But this sleep is different. There he was sleeping plus seeing. Do you agree? There in the waking state also he was sleeping to reality. The expressions which I see makes me feel that you have not understood. In waking state also he was sleeping. In what was he sleeping? He was talking, meeting, everything, but yet sleeping. Sleeping where? To ignorance, to reality. Tattva agrahana. That was there very much. In dream state also that Sushupti was there. And this Sushupti is now coming. So now Upanishad has to make it clear that this Sushupti is little different. There in that Sushupti, in spite of Sushupti, he was seeing. He was seeing also. In dream state, he was with Sushupti, he was imagining. But this Sushupti, which will be what? Not seeing, not dreaming. Understood? Do I make myself clear? Yes. Sushupti is common. But that Shushupti, waking state Shushupti was what? Shushupti plus seeing the gross objects, enjoying gross objects. Then dream state Shushupti was what? Shushupti plus imagining and enjoying their subtle objects. Subtle objects. This Sushupti now is of what type? Not seeing gross objects, not enjoying subtle objects, just being there. Totally ignorant. Understood? Now, so Shruti is taken, Shruti has thought of all this. And then it says, Yatra suptaha na kanchana kamam kamayate. This is that Shushupti where sleeping yes, but not not desiring and not seeing any objects. Sleeping yes, but not dreaming. Then what? Sleeping. Sleep in sleep. Sleeping in sleep. This is that kind of Sushupti. Total sleep. Why? How has this come about? Why? Because he was totally exhausted. Then, in this state, in the waking state, his consciousness was out. In the dream state, consciousness was antah prajna. And now consciousness is where? Totally withdrawn, as it were. Consciousness is consciousness. But as I said, these are the states of the mind. That was the state of the mind where it was identified with the gross body. Then the state of the mind where identified with the mind. Then now identified with what? Ignorance. Now even mind is not there. Mind is sleeping, intellect is sleeping, sense organs are sleeping, sense organs both groups, organs of Gyanendriya, Karmendriya, all of them are sleeping. Body is also sleeping. Who is awake? Only one thing is awake. Atma to is always awake. But one more thing. But that doesn't know, but it is awake. Prana. Pranas are awake. If prana were sleeping, then what will happen? Ram Ram. Thank God pranas are awake. But they don't know. This is a big issue. In Brihadaranyaka, this is a big thing. Prana was awake and still the thief came. But Prana did not say anything. Oh, thief has come, you better wake up. But Prana did not say. Then they derived that yes, Prana is also what? Inert. Prana is totally, when mind is not functioning, means mind is withdrawn, then mind cannot pass on that thing to, that consciousness is almost withdrawn. So now the personality is totally merged into ignorance. So, doesn't see anything, doesn't desire anything, that it is called Sushuptam. What has happened? Sushupta sthana eki bhutah, it has become one. One in the sense consciousness which was out, which was in, is now, has become homogeneous, as it were. Eki bhutah. Then what? Now it is called, these are the different names given to this state. Prajnana ghanaha. It has become one homogeneous mass of consciousness. So far, through the mind and sense organs, it was going out. In the dream state, through mind, it was imagining inside. And now, mind is not available to go out. Sense organs are not available to go out. You may shake the fellow, but no response. Some people sleep so hard, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Even if you beat the drum, nothing happens to them. Why? Mind is not available, eyes, nothing. So prajnana ghana, it is dense not in the other sense, but mass of consciousness. It was always consciousness, but now nothing, not identified with mind or with sense organs, not with gross body. In the waking state, identified with the gross body. In the dream state identified with mind. In this state identified with what? Only ignorance. He is not wise, huh? In the dream, in deep sleep state, he is not a wise person. Identified with ignorance. Actually, mass of ignorance now. So, prajnana ghanaha. But still, what does Upanishad call him? Anandamayaha. He is totally in happiness. Deep sleep is, who doesn't want deep sleep? This is something which we all want. Why? Because it is the only state where of the three, yes, this is the only one where you just enjoy. But unfortunately, you are not present. Unfortunately, you are not present to know that I am, actually you are Atma there. Satchitananda Atma. But you don't know. So, knowledge, samadhi and sleep are similar. Samadhi, where he is awake to Atma and he knows I am of the nature of happiness. And this sleep is also same. But difference is there he knows and here he doesn't know. Enjoy is right. Thing is what? It is the mind is covered. There is a curtain. Very big curtain of ignorance. The whole thing is covered by ignorance. Having got tired with the gross objects, then subtle objects, there was lot of stress in both the states. Now the burden is off. In the deep sleep state, burden is off. And now he is one with Atma, but doesn't know because tamas is there, sushupti is there, ignorance is there. So, Anandamayohi Anandabhuk. But Cheto Mukhaha, it is called Cheto Mukhaha. Why? Because it's gateway. Gateway to what? To Jagrat and dream. Both of them come from here. Either from sleep, sometimes from sleep again you go back to dream. At 4 o'clock also you get dream. Wow, it is about and now it's time to get up. But still you are dreaming. So it's quite possible that from this you go to dream, you go to waking. Chetu, gateway to both dream as well as to waking state. And what is it? Prajnaha. Prajnaha means he is nothing but consciousness and also ignorant. This is the Trutiyaha Padaha. This is the third quarter. This is the third quarter. Now, what happens? That from this third quarter, now the sequence is that in the same manner, please describe the fourth one. Just as you described the 3 quarters, in the same fashion, describe the fourth one. That he is in this sphere and enjoying those objects and Baish Prajnaha, Antah Prajnaha, Stula book, nothing in that language. Now the fourth one is not going to be described. So, Vashyakaras, I think we can leave that for tomorrow. Where is Maha? Chaturtha Padaha Kramapraptaha Vaktavyaha now says that now in sequence comes the fourth one. So describe that. Sarva Shabda Pravrutti Nimitta Shunyatvat Tasya Shabda Anabhideyatvam. Now the Shruti says no, that is not possible. To describe the fourth one just as it described the first 3, that way to describe the fourth one is not possible. Why? Because now there is no gross body, no subtle body, no causal body. What was causal body? Ignorance. From, you know what is causal body? Causal body means no body. Causal body means ignorance, from which, because of ignorance, there are vasanas, desires. From that arises subtle body, which means you need an instrument. And from that, because of that, you are given the gross body. None of this is possible, none of this is present in the consciousness. Consciousness doesn't have ignorance at all. So here there are no bodies at all, causal, neither causal nor dream nor subtle. Then how to describe? You can describe a thing provided it has some jati, some guna, some kriya, some action. See, jati means, if I say that this thing is a cow, belongs to the, it has cowness, because it belongs to this thing called species called cow. That way Atma cannot be described, because Atma does not belong to a species. It does not have a form that I can say it is this, it has round shape or rectangular shape, etc. There are no attributes, good or bad, no color, no parts, no function. If there was some function performed by Atma, say I am driving, say I am cooking, say I am walking, if there were some actions, then with the help of that also we could have described. But Atma is sense of all, there is absolutely none of this, no jati, kriya, guna, rudhi, nothing. So how to describe? How to describe? And it is not connected also, not connected in any way to anything. So now Shruti has to employ a different method. Actually, only a thing possessing some qualities can be described by words. Words can describe a thing which has something of what we said. But when the thing has no such qualities, how to describe by words? And words are the only thing we have to communicate. And Shruti says Brahman cannot be described by words and cannot even be visualized by mind. Mind is the offspring of Maya. How can that Maya, or the mind which is the offspring of Maya, which is due to Maya, can reach Brahman? Cannot. So, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha, it has been said, from where the words along with the mind recedes without reaching Brahman. Why? Because mind and the words can function or see or perceive only that which is of the same, which has the same degree of reality. Now the order of reality has changed. So far there was one kind of reality. Now this reality is of a different nature. See, this is very important. Saguna and Nirguna are totally of different realities, different class of realities. One belongs in the class of Asat, other in the class of Sat. Then how can Asat be the means to reach Sat? No way. Cause and effect, then by cause you can see, if you see something, then you, supposing, we used to give this example, you know, in India, in the old houses, there are many attics in the house itself, you know. Then the this mouse may be there, but we see its tail. We don't see the whole mouse, but we are seeing the tail. From the tail we infer, yes, the mouse is there. Or just the standard example, you don't see the fire, but you see the smoke in the hillock. Then from the smoke you infer that fire must be. Like that, Brahman cannot be inferred from creation. No such connection between Sat and Asat, real and apparent. Then how to reach Brahman? No way. So now Shruti employs the method, and words are the only thing we have. So we are helpless, but Shruti is not. Though Brahman cannot be described by words, words are the only thing we have. So the method to reach Brahman is by the method of negation. By the method of negation, apavada. It is called apavada, which means neti. This is very famous. Neti, neti. Na iti, neti, neti means not that neti of pranayama. Neti means not this, not this. No, it is used twice. It is called vipsa. Vipsa means not only twice, but everywhere. Everywhere. Means naiti, naiti. How long should we do? How long not this, not this, not this? Unless and until you negate everything. Everything is to be negated. But why talk in the language of negation? Why don't you talk positively? Instead of saying what is not, why don't you say what is Brahman? But we can't. And so what is the method? It is not this, not this, not this. After having done that, what remains is Brahman. What will remain is Brahman. So what is that matter? Not vachyartha, but lakshyartha. I will explain this tomorrow. This will be our subject tomorrow. Brahman is to be understood by lakshana, by implied meaning of the words, not by vachyartha. No word can describe Brahman. Words are used to negate, to remove all the complexes, all the notions that you have built about this, about that, about everything. Negate everything. Then there will be another question. Then nothing remains. When you negate everything, nothing remains. So Brahman is what? Nothing. Nothingness. Buddhists say that. Shunyavadis. There are many vadas. One of the vada is Shunyavada. Shunyavada means nihilism, means nothing. Nothingness is the truth. Are you nothing?
No.
Are you nothing? If you say nothingness is the truth, then you are nothing. Are you nothing? We can never be nothing. We can never wish you. See, the seer is something positive. Sat, existence. When I say everything is nothing, when I negate everything, that there is nothing, but I am the seer, is the seer who says everything, nothing is there, is very much there. You understand what I am saying? One who says nothing is the truth, but who is watching that? Is he nothing? Then he will not be there to say. It is like removing the carpet from your feet, from under your feet. So then, how to know that Brahman? We'll talk about that tomorrow. Fine. Om Purnamataః Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptatehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
So do we want to have a Q&A?